The boxing world hasn't witnessed such a sensational challenge in a long time. Jake Paul shocked both his fans and rivals with his latest post on social media. First Gervonta, Tank Davis. Then Anthony Joshua. Yes, you heard that right. On one side, Davis, the star of the 135-pound lightweight division, and on the other, Joshua, the giant of the heavyweight class. And these two names are the targets of Jake Paul, who has stepped from YouTube boxing into the professional arena. So what does this mean? Is this just a show, or is it the sign of a new era in boxing history? The real point of attention here is the language Jake Paul used. First I will kill David, then I will slay Goliath, he said, a sentence that carries both a religious reference and a strategic message. This metaphor, is it pointing to the classic story in boxing where the small defeats the big, or is there a completely different calculation behind it? Because here we are not only talking about two fights, we are talking about a giant media empire, a billion-dollar betting market, and a plan that could potentially change the balance of the heavyweight division in the future. Let's make one thing clear. Gervonta Davis is an explosive, fast, and technical boxer who has fought so far at 135 pounds. Jake Paul, however, is a 200-pound cruiserweight, so the physical advantage is his. But the matter is not only about weight. It's about how this fight is being organized and why it is being announced now. So will Davis really be a David in this fight, or will the real stone thrower turn out to be someone else? The interesting part is that Paul's partner, Nakisa Darian, spoke to ESPN after this announcement and said that the Anthony Joshua fight is also on the table. In other words, Jake Paul plans to first step into the ring with the lightweight star and then challenge the heavyweight giant. Eddie Hearn also recently stated that this fight could take place in the first quarter of 2026. So let's ask, is this just a publicity stunt, or is Jake Paul truly rewriting the dynamics of modern boxing? In this video, we won't just talk about the possibilities of these fights. We'll also analyze the money traffic behind the scenes, the role of betting companies in this process, and why Jake Paul suddenly chose these two names. Because what lies behind this is not just sport, but a very big strategy. And understanding where this strategy is heading directly concerns not only the boxing world, but also its investors in the next 2 years. As you can see, Jake Paul's latest move is not just a fight announcement. It's part of a strategy that challenges the balance the boxing world has been accustomed to for years. First Gervonta, Tank Davis, then Anthony Joshua. The difference between these two names is not only weight and height, but also market value, audience reach, and global attention. With this move, Paul is clearly showing that he is building a big game not only in the ring, but also in finance and media. So, who will be the winner of this game? The sport, the audience, or the giant financial circles behind the scenes? Let's not forget, such announcements are never just about picking an opponent. When a name is mentioned, millions of dollars in betting open up, sponsorship negotiations begin, and media agencies stir up the agenda. Paul's strategy steps in exactly here. First, he faces an attention-grabbing name. Then he uses that attention to pave the way for a much bigger fight. That's why the Gervonta Davis match is a key step, both relatively low risk and highly meaningful in terms of storyline. The battle between a small but explosive star and a big influencer boxer. The Anthony Joshua possibility, however, is a completely different league. Because here we're not just talking about a boxing match, but an event that could go down in heavyweight history. If this fight happens, the traditional rules and classes of boxing may be stretched this much for the first time. If Jake Paul wins this match, he could go down in history as a man who changed all paradigms of modern boxing. Even if he loses, he'll still walk away with millions of dollars in revenue and one of the most talked about sporting events in the world. Now I'm asking you, do you think this is courage or a well-planned marketing strategy? Can Jake Paul really beat these giants, or is he just part of a show? Share your thoughts in the comments, because in the next video I'll explain the financial ties behind this fight, the betting odds, and which major investors are involved in this process. Believe me, what you'll hear there has never appeared in any boxing news before. If you enjoy these kinds of analyses, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Because this story doesn't end here. Until 2026, we will witness very critical developments, and we'll be analyzing all of them together step by step. Who knows, maybe this process will not only reshape boxing, but also become a breaking point that redefines the entire commercial future of combat sports.